And CNN News 18 Siddhant Mishra spoke with Indian origin Shivendra Dwivedi, who is the president of Canada India Forum in Canada and who was interrogated by Canadian intelligence in 2019 regarding his friendship with BJP politicians in India. Last few days have been traumatic for him, as pro-Khalistani groups like SFJ and Muslim organizations in Canada are targeting him. Listen in to what he had to say.
Mr. Dwivedi, there have been a lot of news articles that are being published on you, and some of these pro-Khalistani groups. I mean, it looks like that they are looking for an opportunity to malign your image, and in fact, the headline says that you were interrogated by CIGF in 2019 regarding your connections with the people here in India, including senior BJP leadership.
We started the Canada-India Global Forum a while back, since about 2017-18. In 2019, I was appointed as the national president for Canada, and Canada-India Global Forum has 7 chapters in different Canadian cities. Almost all the major cities have a chapter, and I'm its national president. And our work is to improve Canada-India relations in both the political and the trade field. And we've had a fair bit of success in doing that. And I can tell you that as an example, in 2019, when I was approached twice, when I spoke to, we had a very nice conversation over dinner with the CIGF officer. They just wanted to know what was Canada-India Global Forum's function.
Okay.
Why were we doing this? What was our purpose? So I explained to them, that there's not a national Canadian organization of Indo-Canadians.
And we're now being joined by CNN News 18's Siddhant Mishra, who in fact had the conversation with Mr. Dwivedi. Siddhant, help us understand, has Mr. Dwivedi tried raising this issue of him being targeted to the authorities? And if yes, what has been the response so far?
Well, look, Mr. Dwivedi has always been very vocal about his relations with the Bharatiya Janata Party politicians here in India. And in fact, he is the second generation Indian, well settled in Canada, and perhaps he's a doctor, so he's serving the society back in Canada. In 2019, CIGF, which happens to be the intelligence agency of Canada, approached him and perhaps, had word with him twice regarding his links with Indian politicians, and also, what does his organization, India-Canada Forum, Global Forum, actually do. So that particular, development took place in 2019. And Mr. Dwivedi had absolutely no problem about it, because he personally believes that if somebody has any suspicion, he can, the person or an agency can come to him. He is ready to clarify, because he doesn't do any sort of an influence. He's not a part of an influence machinery of India in Canada. But what is happening in last 10-15 days is that the Khalistani groups like Baz News and the other pro-Khalistani media in Canada, what they are doing is, they are deliberately targeting Mr. Dwivedi, and perhaps articles are being written on him, front page articles being published, and also the Baz News and other publications are reporting on it, that how Mr. Dwivedi is linked to Indian politicians and right-wing Hindutva party in India, and that Hindutva party, which is BJP obviously, is trying to perhaps operate influence into Canada through Mr. Dwivedi. So that is an allegation which is being made on him, and in the 2019 word that he had with the CIGF officials is now being published everywhere in the Canadian newspaper. Now, Mr. Dwivedi has to say that this is nothing, but since these Khalistani groups are on back foot, because India and Canada both are looking at a point where they have started de-escalation process. So peace and influence services have already started. So what Khalistani groups are doing, they are maligning, they're targeting affluent Indians settled in Canada, and perhaps they are sort of trying to create a narrative raising suspicion against these individuals like Mr. Dwivedi. Back to you.
All right, Siddhant, thank you so much for giving us all those details.